It's unseasonably warm in Kansas, but still, it's winter. And I've been surprised, perhaps you are too, that cars are colder to sleep in than tents. I just assumed that cars are solid and they had to be warmer than the thin fabric of my backpacking tent. It's more like a metal box that turns into a refrigerator. I gotta fix this if I'm going to be successful to sleep in my car, especially as it gets much colder. Well, welcome back to Monk Reflections. In my last video, I said winter camping isn't just about surviving the cold. It's about thriving in it. And today, I'm transforming my CRV from a cold storage locker into a warm winter cabin. Well, many of you have been asking, Monk, how do you keep from freezing? And that's what we're going to tackle today. Well, this is the finale of my winter build out for my CRV. I've done the window covering, have the power solution in this EcoFlow power supply. And now I have the Hcalory Toolbox Diesel Heater. This is an 8 kilowatt heater. It claims to be the all-in-one solution for portable vehicle heating. But specifications on a website's one thing. The real test is to bring it outside and see how it works. This toolbox heater is all in one unit. It has the fuel tank, has the heating element and the air blower and the combustion chamber all inside this metal box. Compact and lightweight. I want to see how it works. I'm going to walk you through the whole setup. How I rigged up the exhaust safely, how I powered on, how we're going to run it throughout the night for an overnight test. I'm going to sleep in the car tonight. We're going to find out if this thing is a game changer or just a lot of hot air. So first off, why did I choose this specific unit? If you watch the channel very long, you know that I like systems that are modular. And I didn't want to cut any holes in my CRV for a permanent install. I wanted something that I can take out when summer hits. The toolbox style is essentially a plug-and-play system. It's got the fuel pump, the tank, the combustion chamber, and it's all housed inside this metal case. It still needs a 12-volt system to heat up the glow plug and then to power the fuel pump and the exhaust fans. And Hcalory claims that this operates on 0.1 to 0.3 liters per hour. And if that's true, then this tank should last at least 2 nights. But we'll see. The output is rated at 8 kilowatts, and honestly, for a CRV, that is really massive overkill. We're going to be running this thing at absolutely the lowest setting, or we'll be cooking inside. The build quality feels solid. It looks good, but the critical part isn't on how it looks. It's how we can set it up safely. Carbon monoxide is no joke. So now let's talk about power. I use the AC port in my EcoFlow system. And a common question I get is, does this kill your battery? Now on startup, these heaters get blitzed. The glow plug, it pulls a lot of amps to ignite the diesel. And you'll see a spike of 100 to 150 watts pulling out of the battery. That's for about 3 minutes. And then when the diesel motor ignites and starts working, it drops down and it's pulling, well, let's see. Now I just have the fan running and you can see that it's pulling 8 watts for just the fan. And that's what it'll use after the diesel motor kicks in. Unit comes with a really good user's manual. Now, it looks thick, but it's really a small portion that's in English, just the first, 23 pages. You know, if you're like me, usually I toss these user manuals. I don't look at them. For this heater, I suggest that you really study the manual for a couple of reasons. One, we're dealing with fire. I mean, the diesel will go through a combustion chamber, the glow plug will ignite the diesel, and then it will start running the motor. But so you're dealing with fire, and where there's fire, there's carbon monoxide. And you're pumping hot air into your car. All of those things together is a formula for danger if you're not careful and you don't know what you're doing. So read the manual. And besides, I have seen several folks talking about this, and they go through the manual real quickly, and I didn't think this thing could do some of the things that it can do. There are 5 sections in here that I really want to point out. First is there's a constant temperature mode. By pushing the up arrow and the down arrow at the same time, you'll go into what they call a constant temperature mode. You can increase or decrease the temperature value of that constant mode. The range settings is from 0 to 40 centigrade. If you press and hold this gear button for 2 seconds, it will shift over into Fahrenheit mode. For ventilation, press the gear for 2 seconds and you can hear the fan as it's going. It's really quiet. Now remember, for the ventilation, where you're just getting the fan and you're just bringing in fresh air into the car, it's the gear. If you push the power button here, that's what starts the glow plug to heat up and starts the combustion for the diesel. If all you want is ventilation, all you have to do is push the gear button, and then to turn it off, you just press and hold it for a couple of seconds, and it shuts off. I've read that when you first start to use these, the best thing to do is to prime the fuel pump. And I was wondering, how did you do that? How do you prime the pump where you're getting all the air out of the fuel line and you're just having diesel going into the combustion chamber? And the way you prime the fuel pump is just simply you push the up and the down arrows at the same time and you hold them in, and you'll hear the fuel pump start to click. To stop it, you just release it. It comes with this remote. It's a simple remote, just on, off, up, down for temperature. To pair this up, you press the power and the down arrow at the same time, and then HFA1 will be displayed. You press the up and arrow down to adjust the 4th digit, which is the remote control number. It ranges from 1 to 3, so you can have up to 3 remotes to operate with this. And then you select the remote number and press the button on the remote to pair it. And there it is. Again, I highly recommend that you read the user's manual for this Hcalory diesel heater. It has a lot of good stuff in here. Well, it's dinner time, and for dinner, I'm going to have soup. This is a broccoli cheese soup that my wife makes, and it is delicious. Turn this on. It's heated up. Dear God, thank you for this food, and thank you for the beauty of your creation. Thank you for watching over our health, keeping us safe today. Give us rest tonight, and wake us tomorrow to see the beauty of your world. Amen. Well, my power supply is fully charged. It's at 99%. Have the refrigerator going. And I'm going to use the AC plug to power up my heater. First thing I'm going to do is fill up the fuel tank. Make sure that's tight. And over here on the side, you have this fuel gauge, and it's at about 90% full. We'll check it again tomorrow morning and see how much fuel we have left. First thing I'm going to do is prime the fuel pump. This is the fuel pump, this is the fuel line, and fuel pump will bring up diesel out of the tank, take it over, and it should fill this up, and I prime it to get all the air out so that it's more efficient when it starts. To prime the pump, I will push the up and down arrows at the same time, and it is starting to click. First time it takes a little while. So it's got to come from the tank, through the pump, and all the way down into here. When I release the buttons, the pump will stop. Just like that. I'll close this up. And this is the first time I've ever turned this on. I don't have the hot air duct yet hooked up. It'll go right here. But before I do that, I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to let it just run for about 30 minutes, trying to burn out all of the solvent that they use, that they ship it with, and then it won't smell on the inside of the car when I'm burning it tonight. So I'm going to put the tailpipe on. A couple of things with the tailpipe. It just slides onto this part right here. And you can see I have put this protective sleeve on it. This has silicone and a fiberglass liner in order, because this gets very hot. At the same time, you don't want to touch this muffler because it gets very hot. Now it's time for the big test. We'll turn it on. It'll take a little while for the glow plug to heat up, and I'm going to show you how much power it draws as it's doing that. It draws quite a bit of power. And then after the glow plug heats up and it ignites the diesel, the electricity draw drops down a lot. So I just turn on the power, and I'm just going to let that run. Let's see how much it's drawing right now. Okay, so between the refrigerator and the heater, it is drawing 122, 127, 130 watts. About 130 watts it goes up to. And it will draw that. You can see it's been less than 2 minutes. And by priming the pump, it really helps to ignite it a whole lot faster. Already got warm air coming out. This tailpipe and exhaust gets over 300 degrees hot. That's why I have that protective sleeve on there. Still not planning to grab it and mess with it, but if I bump into it, I don't want to burn myself or someone else. It's really not loud at all, and there is no ticking. I've heard folks complaining about the ticking sound, and on the full H10, there's no ticking there. When I turn this down tonight to one of the, like 1 or 2, we'll see what it's like, see if it ticks then. If I left this on high through the night, this would burn me up. It is hot air coming out of there. I want to show you a few things. This is the fresh air intake, and it also has an air intake for the combustion chamber, and it's coming up just underneath this opening. But this is where it draws fresh air in here. It runs it across the heating chamber, and then it comes out on this side, which gets piped into the car. A couple of things to think about as you're doing this is, one is, which way is the wind blowing? The wind is blowing across this way, so it's blowing the exhaust downstream, which is a good thing. I want it to go that way. I want it to go away from the car. Okay, so this unit's been running for about 30 minutes, and I'm going to get ready to shut it down. Then I'll hook it up to the car and fire it back up again. When I first started it, the exhaust pipe smoked for maybe 2 minutes, and then that got clear. I have smelt no strange odors at all. Some people said they do. I haven't. But I did leave everything on the outside of the car for now, and then once that was done, and I let it run for about 30 minutes so that it would just burn off everything, now I'm going to shut it down. A couple of things about the shutdown. One is that you don't just unplug it. If you unplug it, that heated aluminum body, the combustion chamber, it has no place to dissipate the heat, and it's going to crack as it starts to cool. So you don't do that. You just push the power control button, and it will go through its own shutdown process and cool down and keeps the fan running until it's all cooled enough that then it shuts itself down. So never ever just unplug it from the system, or you will severely damage the heating unit. The other thing is that this unit has an app, and I didn't know what it would be like. It was easy to set it up. I downloaded the app, and it has a QR code in the user's manual that you just point at, and it takes you right to the site where you download the app. And then the app itself, and I'll show it to you here, it tells you everything. With the app, I have it set for 74 degrees right now. Now, you can turn that up or you can turn that down. And it also shows you important things. It's drawing 13 volts DC. We're at an elevation of 180 meters above sea level. The aluminum body, the combustion chamber that's in there, is currently at 428 degrees Fahrenheit. And the ambient temperature is at 70, just went to 79 degrees. I'm going to shut it down. It'll go through its cool down process, shut down, and then I'll hook the ductwork up to the outside of it. Okay, to be honest, I'm hearing a very faint ticking, but it's really quiet. So I'm going to hit the stop button. Okay, it just turned off, and then I'm just going to let that go through its system, and it'll shut itself down. The last lights of the day are fading off in the west. Everything on my car is rigged up. I have the window insert in. It's all hooked up with the ductwork to the heater. It's time to fire this thing up and get ready for the night. Just push the power button. And there it goes. The heater's running outside. The refrigerator is running in here. All of it is drawing very little from my power supply. It's nice and warm. In fact, it's toasty. Have it set down to the lowest setting possible on the heater. So we'll see if I can be comfortable through the night. If it gets too hot, I'll have to turn it off. I hope I can let it run all night, because I really want to see how much fuel it uses, and I want to see how much power it draws from my power bank. A lot of people complain about the ticking of the fuel pump, but honestly, I don't even hear it. It's about 10 o'clock, and it's 38 degrees outside. In here, it's got to be 72. I've actually cracked the window open over here on my side. Just a couple of observations before I crash. When I first started up the heater, there was a diesel smell and some smoke. But in 5 minutes, it was no longer smoking, and I haven't smelled any kind of strange
odors outside or inside the car. All I get inside the car is clean, dry heat. And that's huge because condensation and moisture are a big problem in car camping. This dry heat kills the condensation. Inside the car, all I hear is the air coming through the ductwork. A white noise. It's really soothing. The real test, though, is going to be about 4 o'clock in the morning. Will the fuel hold out? Will my battery stay powered? Or will I be freezing inside here? Well, I'm going to set my alarm now and go to sleep. Good night for now. See you all in the morning. Good morning. I slept well. It's 35 degrees outside and 71 degrees here in the car. Just warm, dry air all night long. And no condensation in the car at all. The battery is down to about 40%. With this draw, it says that I could get another 13 and a half hours on the battery. So that's really efficient because not only did I run the heater all night, but my refrigerator also. Very pretty morning. Clouds rolled in about 3 o'clock, and then there was a break in the clouds about 4. Now it's just sort of a high cloud, just a pretty day. Let's see how much fuel the heater used last night. If you can hear, it is still just whisper quiet. I barely hear that ticking sound that everybody complains about, but it's not loud at all. And when we look, we're at 40% fuel. We started at 90, so we used a half a tank through the night. I'm impressed. Now, one thing that I've gathered from research is that before I shut it down, I'm going to turn it on high and leave it on high for about 10 minutes, and that way it burns up all the residue in there and it doesn't leave a soot buildup in the combustion chamber. Diesel doesn't burn as clean as gasoline. So there's a couple of tricks that you can use. One is to put a little bit of kerosene in the mix with the diesel, and that helps burn it a little hotter and clean it up a little bit more. Or this trick where you just turn it on full blast, leave it for 10 minutes, and then you turn it off. And again, when you go to turn it off, don't just shut it down, just hit the on-off button, let it go through its cycle to shut down. Otherwise, you can damage the heater. So is this Hcalory Toolbox Heater a game changer? Absolutely. This is going to completely change the dynamic of my winter camping. I'm not trying to fight the elements anymore. I'm actually controlling my environment. It's dry and it's warm, and it's safe if I set it up right. For the price point and the portability, this is going to be a permanent fixture in my winter loadout. If you're building out your rig, I recommend, don't overlook this. It's the difference between a tough time out and a comfortable adventure. I think everything's dialed in. I think my little cabin on wheels is complete, and I'm ready to get it out for a longer adventure. Looking forward to that. Planning to go to Nebraska in a couple of weeks for the sandhill crane migration, and then on to one of the western counties in Kansas to video and photograph prairie chickens. Ought to be great fun.